Okay, hi guys. Hi everyone. Can you hear me okay? Can you all hear me or I'm always insecure how this microphone works. But we will see. You guys wanna say hi to me? Hi. Hi. Oh, hi guys. I don't see any greetings. Hi. Boo Boo, is that right? Can you hear my voice? Shut down water. Hi everyone, thanks for joining in. Hi, oh. Hi guys, hi. Great, perfect. You can hear me. That's fine. That's perfect. I know. I was so like glad last time. So many people said they couldn't join in, so they were waiting for the next live. So that's how I turned on my camera. You know, I have nothing else better to do on this Sunday, unfortunately. Hi, Taryn. Is that Korean name? Are you Korean? I'm doing well today. I've been reading Latin, and that's pretty much it. My Sunday. I will probably go for one this afternoon, but nothing much planned. Ah, you're Turkish. Oh wow, you live in Germany. I love the name Sharon. Oh, thank you. Oh, Orlando, Florida. I'm going to Florida this winter. I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I'm going this winter. See. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, I was like, I've been reading, like uploading a lot of videos, and I really try to be helpful to add something into your life. Almost because I'm not as desperate to get more views or followers, but because I do have a responsibility to talk about North Korea in a more accurate light, and also I do want to help the people to understand North Korea better. In a way, I'm so grateful because so many people have reached out to me in the past that they have so many questions about North Korea, but it's very hard for me to type everything in the email and explain things because North Korea is a very nuanced subject. So, I really hope through this channel I can help you to understand those things that you couldn't, and for you guys to see me really who I am as a person. Because I think, today I was reading about the news and I wanted to talk about this point where, I also felt like, in a way, people trying to narrow me, some people like try to narrow me as a resilient survivor, or some of them try to narrow me as a victim, and it's so many like different, like depending on the newspaper, depending on the journalist. But I'm all of them. I'm a victim, I'm a survivor, I'm a resilient person, like all of it. But it is very hard to show who you are in a general like newspaper. So the problem, I think, continue from our conversation where I completely lost about, when people were saying like I'm lying, is that, when I like talk to a journalist for 15 minutes and they expect me to give them my like 26 years of life from every detail. And if I fail to tell them something, few things or big thing in that like on our interview maximum, they say, oh, you didn't tell me, therefore you lied. It's just like, how can you explain to someone your life in an hour? It's like an impossible task. So that's like what I hope to do in this channel, that I can talk about so many parts of my life where I lived relatively well back in North Korea, also when I had the hardships, right? Like you guys lived this life like me. Not every day was painful, or not every day was or perfect. And it is so hard as a public figure, they want the simplicity. They want me to talk about just one way, and they don't want those layers of personal life. And a TV show wants me to only talk about the good part where I had a good life with my father, and another person like wants me to talk about only the one part where I suffered without my father or mother. It's so tough, and it's so great. Like in YouTube, I don't have to that. I can just talk about every part of it. So I will go hike. And another thing, guys, about my skin. Oh my gosh, I can't believe about that. I know a lot of you are men, so you don't care about it, but so people's like, oh, why your skin is so like oily? And in Korean culture, it's not like we don't say it's oily, we say glowy. So in Korean culture, we don't put like foundations, like matte skin products, so it doesn't like clog your pores and let the natural skin just show and moisturize and hydrate it. And I'm still like, even though I'm in America, some things about Korea I still like, a lot of things. And one of them is, making your skin more natural and without hiding with the foundation and get the glowy out. So sorry guys, I'm sure for the future videos, my skin will be oily for your standard. It's not gonna be like Americans, completely matte. So I'm gonna put that in advance. So let me go through some questions. So yeah, I actually was going to make this one of the videos next time about what American movies are most popular in North Korea. And I'm sure like everyone gonna have a little bit of different answers, but based on what I was speaking to other defectors and when I was there, so I think most of defectors that I met, so Home Alone. It's a young boy in New York left alone during the Christmas. Have you guys ever seen that movie? I loved it when I was in North Korea. So Home Alone is quite popular. And second popular movie is Die Hard. It's a man who kind of divorced his wife and comes back and saves this entire building from terrorists. And that was like really a huge hit. And recently, when I talked to people in North Korea with my contacts, and guess what they like? A lot of North Koreans apparently like Beverly Hills Real Housewives. It's a some like some show that I saw some clips after I heard them. Can you guys send us more like Real High Housewives of Beverly Hills? I was like, what the heck is that? And I had to look it up. So those are things, something unexpected things North Koreans like. And I thought about it, like, why do they like something like, action movies or something so they cannot connect with? But I think when we are in North Korea, our life is so, hopeless. It's such a hopeless situation. And my mom also thinks the same, that they watch those things to escape their reality, for even an hour. You need that kind of mental break when you live in a constant fear and in a surviving mode. You need that kind of break. That's why I think they are not like, I mean, if I were me, I would think like, send me the documentary, like send me the educational material. But some of them do, but a lot of them just want some kind of unrealistic shows to escape from their reality. So that I thought very interesting. Hi guys. How is my mom and sister doing? My sister is doing really well. My sister married a South Korean man this year. They dated for like 6 years. So we call that a later reunification of North Korea and South Korea. And my mom is going to come visit me soon. So you guys see us together soon. I cannot wait to bring her here so you guys can meet her. She's hilarious, unlike me. I'm so serious, but my mom is so funny, genuinely. If you ain't watched Jack, let's look at your love lost killing from. Okay. Jackie Chan, or what is that? I saw a lot of Jackie Chan movies too. We think about Kim Han-sol. Okay, yeah, let's talk about Kim Han-sol. Kim Han-sol is the son of Kim Jong-nam. So Kim Jong-nam is Kim Jong-il's first son. So Kim Jong-nam was really loved by Kim Jong-il until Kim Jong-il found a new wife and had another children with them. So Kim Jong-nam was, I think, most likely was going to succeed instead of Kim Jong-un. But the Kim Jong-un's mom was a very ambitious person, and she was really making sure that her son was going to succeed, not the first wife. You know, Kim Jong-il had multiple wives. So the Kim Jong-nam is from a first wife and the son. And his son is Kim Han-sol. He went to school in France. I know some of you are coming from France. And when his father got assassinated in Malaysia, a group in America called the Free Joseon, they rescued him to America. And what I hear is that Han-sol is now in California, in America. A lot of Kim's families have escaped, and they actually come to America because still, like, America is way safer than, going to South Korea. So I think Han-sol also chose America. And I think, even though Han-sol is like basically in a very legitimate line, right? His father was first son of Kim Jong-il, and he's also first son of Kim Jong-nam. But the thing is that Han-sol's case, he never met, I think, Kim Jong-il. Himself says that, like, he never met the dear leader. And himself really didn't live in North Korea. He always like live abroad with his family. So even though his bloodline is North Korea, a lot of people think, it's once something happens to Kim Jong-un, Han-sol is not going to, take like something about it because, in his life, he doesn't really have much experience in North Korea. So let's see, here is like funny. Which is your favorite country? I can say like I do love America a lot because I haven't experienced a lot of other countries. I do want to live in Europe, but I think the US is in a very special place in my heart because after South Korea, this was the first country I felt I was completely embraced and, in fact, home. So I do love America, but these days it's like I live in Chicago and it's I do not have any problems with the protest. I do think it's our right that people need to protest, but I'm just not okay with the lootings. I live in very downtown near the, all the malls, everything. And it's very, it's very scary, like so many police and, gunshots. And I don't know how many of you guys been to Chicago. It is like funny. I'm from North Korea, but there wasn't like a protest or violence. We always have to be completely obedient. If you rise, you're gonna get killed. So in a way, even though it was way, way more oppressive in North Korea, but still the violence in that kind of level was way lower. You don't like often think like, oh, I might get shot today walking on the street. But it is such a legitimate thing right now in Chicago, in downtown. It's like, I actually can get shot if I get unlucky, So it's such an interesting time to be in America too. I cannot imagine a time where a country can be more divided than now. And it's just sad that this the greatest country, if everyone is focusing on building it together and making it better and being open-minded, this country has so much potential, but I feel like everyone is like really not focusing on building it, and a lot of people are destroying it, sadly. And it's I'm definitely planning to leave Chicago downtown soon. I think definitely it's not, I don't feel safe to have my boy here walking with him in the city at all. What's your best piece of advice? What kind of advice for what? I mean, living in this uncertain time, or thank you. I know it's like so many people telling me about like ethnically made clothes, and I really understand it now. But back then, I didn't really know because I was very poor. Like I just wanted something very cheap, so I like a lot of my clothes are from like Forever 21, H&M, and Zara, and so many people told me like that's not okay. So I'm like learning new things. So healthcare in North Korea, how does it work? I think as I said before, like nothing is free, even though it's supposed to be like healthcare, education, all should be universal, but it's not. So if you don't have money, you cannot get a healthcare. Like when I had my appendix, I remember I was 13, and initially I was going to escape with my sister to China. And one day, I live in this 8th floor. Someday I actually want to really do this with you guys. I want to show on the Google map and exactly which building where I lived in North Korea. So for the last few years before I escaped, I lived in this 8th floor. And of course we don't have, elevator. So I always like going up 8th floor and going down 8th floor. It was fun. But coming down the 8th floor, I had such a bad stomach ache. And I actually want to talk about this before that, why I got sick. So North Korea had a kind of pandemic like Corona, but way, way, way worse. It was called the Songhongyeol. And the regime said the Songhongyeol was from China, and China was trying to kill us and giving us that disease. So Songhongyeol is like a lot of children got it. Like, of course, like people in 20s got it too, but it was way more children's. It was not like chicken pox. It's none of that. It was really deadly. You get it. You like get these dots all over your body, including even your eyes and the white part. And the fever goes too high. So a lot of times girls get their uterus burn. So after this thing, virus you get, you might not even have the baby afterwards. And a lot of people like lose, half of their weight. It's so bad. And even during that time, it wasn't like of course we didn't have lockdown. We didn't have any like masks or like any medication. If you survive, you survive. If you don't survive, if you don't survive. And I got it. But my sister had a little bit more minor case than me. And, like when you die, like when you don't even like, you die. That's like how far I went. It's not like you are so like out of it. Like I wasn't even able to open my eyes. And I like it was so like you don't even like feel anything at that point when you are in that kind of last stage of your life. Miraculously, my mom was able to borrow some tiny money and went out to the black market. I bought some antibiotics, and that helped me to get back. But once I recovered from it, I wasn't like normal. I lost so much weight and I was so dizzy. And one day going that like staircase, I had like this huge stomach ache. And my mom took me. I don't know who took me. I was so out of it. The doctor just like in the hospital, like I was so like surprised here when I came here. Like if you say you're sick, the first thing they do is like getting your blood out, ask you to, go to bathroom and pee on it. and they checked like x-rays or something to see what's wrong, but none of that like in North Korea. Just literally doctor like rubbed my tummy and he said like, oh, I think you have, you have to like, we have to remove your appendix this afternoon. And that also needs a bribery to get them the surgery. And of course they did surgery without painkiller or none of that. But for me it was okay. But other defectors, when they cut their legs, they just use a saw while they don't have any anesthesia. And I mean, that was like a medical system we experienced. So everything falls apart when the government promises like, I'm gonna provide healthcare, I'm gonna provide education, I'm gonna provide everything. I don't think in general like you need to ever let government be in charge of that. I mean, I know some countries in Europe it works so spectacularly, but somehow it just completely failed miserably in North Korea. So one more question. Where did you? So why? So a lot of people hate me is because people who hate America, and also people are sympathetic of socialist and communist countries. And as a survivor of this monster system, no matter how much I want to be liked, it's not gonna stop me to advocate for this monster system. I know that it works in the Western European countries because you guys exactly respect freedom of speech and democracy. But when you want to have completely central made decision making by the government, it's not working. I know it works in European countries because you have the free economy. Like I've been to Sweden for like 7 times in Stockholm. You guys have the most vibrant technology economy in all other sectors. And when you just talk about pure socialism, it is not. It's controlled by everything by the government. And that is not what I'm not okay with. Like I'm okay with democracy, and like if your country chooses to have universal health care, it's okay, but you cannot like ask me, proudly say how successful socialism is in North Korea, because it's not. It is the worst. It's the worst country in the earth right now. So many buttons on her thing. I suppose I know it's such a like people saying like, oh, you're like, it's a suicide for you that you are not being a politically correct in this age of 21st century. And I'm like, that's not why I escaped. I escaped to live life with truth. I didn't escape to be politically correct. I can say anything nice about anything to be liked everybody, but that's not what I did with my life. I'm also okay that I'm wrong, and I'm happy to get criticized, but I have a right to say what I think is right, and I think everyone should have the right without being judged, for sure. How are you and your fam? I'm great. It's I cannot be better. It is a little bit stressful time with the election for sure coming up, and it's completely sad that so many human rights issues being buried because of this pandemic. And it's quite sad. Like I have seen worse, and I understand the people who have not seen the worst thing in the world. Like pandemic should be the biggest fear for them and a factor for them, but I think it is sad how the pandemic just covered everything, and we pretend like pandemic is the worst thing in this world right now. I do think there are so many worse things in this world that we need to work on, but our politicians just refuse to do anything other than talking about this pandemic. How do people in Mongolia get? Yeah, I want to talk about on call. Are you there, nurse consultant that live there? So I want to talk about my experience in Mongolia. I love Mongolia. But when I was arrived in Mongolia and got caught by Mongolian soldiers, I think it's still confusing because they were like saying, "Oh, we're gonna send you back to China side so you can send back to North Korea and get killed," and we were trying to kill ourselves. And thankfully, they stopped right there, so we didn't actually have to cut out my veins and kill ourselves. But the next team who followed right after, one of them were our friends. She actually had to swallow her poison, so the soldiers would stop sending them back to China side. And they were, I cannot generalize, but like a lot of soldiers, just it was so fun for them to tell us like, "Oh, I'm gonna send you back to North Korea," and how hysterically we're having these breakdowns and just crying and begging them to save us. But once that stage over with them for like month and a half, once we settled in Ulaanbaatar, I think that those people were very lovely, and only the part was like those soldiers were just really, I think later we heard that it was a prank. They were just like, they were not even going to send us back after a while, but they would just keep doing that to see how we react. So it's just but after all, Mongolia was my rescue point, not China was, and I'm forever like indebted for Mongolia to save me for sure. And we don't see you as a they don't see you as a human. It's hard to, I know, like when you're a refugee, right? It's that's what I felt. It wasn't my fault that I chose to be born in North Korea, right? If I had choice, of course I'm gonna choose some other country. And as it wasn't your choice that you were born in Germany, France, Turkey, or America, no one chooses their birthplace. But the another thing is that I don't blame to be born in North Korea. Like what I had to learn from my journey is that you have to accept that life is unfair. You have to like accept that some people get more luckier than you. And what you can do is that instead of blaming that you're born in North Korea or poverty or in a bad situation, what you can do is you can fight for a better life and you can own your life. And that's what I feel sad right now in America is that so much victimhood and almost people don't let the be victims to get over with and move forward and pursue a better life. And I don't blame. I'm grateful that I was born in North Korea for sure. And I only can say that because I escaped, I made it. I know what a luxury for me to say that I was born in North Korea. If I stuck there in China or North Korea, I will never ever say that I was grateful that I was born in North Korea. That's why I know that how ridiculously lucky I am to be able to say that kind of things. But it is, even as a survivor, like what I had to keep doing is, I need to own things, and being free is not easy. And I think people don't understand, like being free is definitely not easy. And it's I think more people try to understand, even in this free world, that what freedom is and try to own it. Yep. North Korea, best Korea. Well, I welcome you to go to North Korea. I think anyone thinks North Korea is the best Korea and the best country, no one stops you guys. You don't have to harass here. You can just simply immigrate to North Korea. It's like what a fortunate easy you are. You can go to North Korea, and we all welcome all of you to go to North Korea if you think it is the best Korea. Okay, I'm gonna what else? It is so, I'm not gonna engage in negativity, guys, because at this point I got a thick skin and I think I'm better than you, so I'm not gonna engage with you. I only appreciate the positivity. I know your Korean friend. Of course, I miss all my friends in North Korea, and I miss especially my nephew. While my father was in prison, and my mom was get interrogated, and she was also partially sent to like labor camp a short time. I was in my uncle's house, and he had a young son. So my uncle's wife, she had to work in the black market, so I had to watch him a lot when I was like 10 or something. So almost like in a way I kind of raised him. So I do really miss him, and now also having a son, I really miss my relatives. In North Korea, like here, I think people are way more individualistic. So if they are not your immediate family, maybe people are not as close. But in North Korea, you are even still so close to your like cousins and nephews and your uncles. Family is a very important bond that everyone has. Have you ever seen the K-drama Kingdom? I didn't see the Kingdom, but I watched the show, the It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Yeah, that was I thought very thoughtful show. I didn't see it till the end, but I saw the few beginning, and it was kind of like resonate with me. It's okay not to be okay. It's because some days everything that I've gone through, I do have days that I'm not okay, and I accept it. I don't think like why I'm not okay. It's like, oh, I will have some bad day, and that's okay. And I think that's like we need to be chill a little bit these days. Really, this election comes up. Why did you not stay in South Korea? Yeah, I said in my video before, South Korea was not safe, and so many detectives were just scaring off, like, how I was being targeted, how I have to tone down about criticizing Kim Jong-un. And it's like, you cannot be saying things like Kim Jong-un is a murderer, your life is in danger, we cannot protect you in South Korea. It's like, okay then, that's how I left. The detectives were so scared that I was keep criticizing North Korean dear leader. Have you seen the movie Still Rain? So no, I have not seen the movie Gangcheolbi. Oh, what makes you happy? What makes me happy? A lot of things. Luckily, I have so many things that make me happy. One thing that make me happy is my family, and another thing that make me happy is you guys that know how many people are still kind and still just, and how many people still in this world have moral compass. And I'm also happy I'm alive. It's I have also many days like my father fought for until his last breath. He knew what life was. He knew what gift this was. And he knew the value of each day so well. He taught me that, what gift life was. And I think because of that, I'm very happy that I have this gift of life to live. What else? Okay, this can K-pop change. I mean, I said like K-pop mind. I do think what will change North Korea, it's not gonna be just one thing. I do think it's gonna be a lot of the combinations. The people's minds change through K-pop, through watching Hollywood movies, and also through this kind of empowering movement, rescue more defectors and letting the world know how not to support Kim Jong-un and convince Chinese Communist Party not to support this dictatorship. And, talking to our president, our leaders to talk about human rights and stop North Korea developing more, nuclear weapons that threatens the whole humanity, and also now we have to combat with North Koreans hacker soldiers. You guys have no idea how much North Korea now steals from hacking. They hack ATM machines, they steal bitcoins, and they are raising armies of hackers. And I really think, it's not only people. A lot of people think like, oh, North Korea is not my threat. They don't threaten me, but I just hope that somebody, if somebody in America or anywhere international community stop North Korea before they develop these deadly weapons, North Korea didn't have to go this far because we left them alone. That looking like what now North Korea is like too powerful. I mean, the regime is too powerful too, and I'm afraid is that I don't want to be in a day where people are gonna say too big to fail. Like North Korea is already gone that process. We cannot stop them. We have to let them, whatever they want to harass, like the way we cannot stop CCP right now, right? Like not many people can dare to stand up against Chinese Communist Party because they are just too big. And I just really hope that doesn't happen with North Korea. So someday we just have to shut up and listen to Kim's. What else? What's your favorite trait in North Korean people? What's your favorite trait in North Korean people? I like how direct North Koreans are. So as you guys got to know me, like even like how many 36 minutes, do you see how direct I am? Like I can't believe like all these people like, oh, she's fake, and it's not in like any genetics to be able to do that. And a lot of North Korean people, like you will see my mom too, how direct she will be. Like we are very, very direct people. The good thing about like North Koreans, they don't plan things behind your back. If they don't like something, they tell you exactly what that is, and they don't like they're going back like, oh, blah blah blah. What it took me very hard, like in South Korea, right? I went, and South Koreans are so sweet, but they're so indirect. So they're like, oh, let's grab coffee sometimes. Like I really like want to get to know you. And actually, I thought they meant it. So I called them back exactly like, so let's get that coffee. When do you want to get that coffee? It's like, they're like, oh, I'm actually busy. So they were just saying things to be nice, not exactly they meant it. But in North Korean culture, like you don't maybe say a lot of nice things, but when they say something, they completely mean it. You can count on them. I think that's what I like. Is like I like a lot of darkness because I'm North Korean. I can't help. So, well, you're planning on write a new book? Am I planning writing a new book? I do think I will write another book. It's only when I feel like I can. My book is gonna help somebody life better or like enrich their life. Like that. I always like ask myself, does my YouTube channel, add any value to anyone? If I come to a conclusion it's not, then I'm not gonna do it. And it's like this exact same thing. If I'm gonna be able to write a book that adds value to someone's life, I will definitely write a book for sure. But right now I'm not completely sure, so I'm just keep reading and try to understand. And it's such a beautiful thing. The world is such a complex thing, and when you try to understand it and connecting dots, I find it so meaningful and so enjoyable for sure to do that. What else? I'm a story writer too. Oh, that's good. I really love how people here loving stories. I mean, like in North Korea, of course, every story had to be like glorifying the leader and the system. So I never like value the story that much. I mean, I did value a lot of stories that my grandmother told me in the bedside, or my father, my aunt told me. They were really good storytellers, and because these stories could not be written, a lot of nice stories they told me was all like oral, like verbally they gave me. And yeah, I think stories are wonderful. Yeah, I keep hearing about the Lord of the Rings. The one of the books I read this year is what is that lady like hunting? My gosh, I forgot there was a movie about it, but I actually read the books. It's a fantasy, but Hunger Games, right? Thank you, Franklin. I read the Hunger Games and I just couldn't believe it. Like, oh, this, I'm sure, like, I cannot say the author copied North Korea, but she definitely envisioned, copied the model of North Korea, right? In that book, there are like 13 different districts, and one is Qatar. And do you remember, like, the people in the Qatar, they eat so much and they drink a drink and empty it out, and so they can eat more to have fun with the food, and the rest of the Qatar outside of Qatar is starving on purpose. And that is exactly North Korea. The people in Qatar are so privileged, and the rest of the Qatar is so starved like that. So the Qatar can control the remaining region. And I think some it's like, yeah, fictions sometimes can tell the reality more than the real story can. Movie Cloud Alice. I have seen the movie Cloud Alice. There is a Korean lady in there, right? I seen it, but I don't think I finished it. I have to watch it again. I just remember what a good movie that was. What else, guys? Do you watch the movie? What are your 5 favorite books? My favorite books, 5 favorite books, I think number 1 had to be Viktor Franklin's. I mean, of course, like other than George Orwell's books, Animal Farm, 1984, and I also liked Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. But other than 3, I really loved Man's Searching for Meaning. Have you guys read that book? He was a Nazi Holocaust survivor, and he talks about what made some people to make it, and why some people just gave up, why they couldn't survive. And he thought, having a meaning in life that helps us to get through impossible. And I couldn't agree with him more. I think what I see in this world right now is chaos because people lost meaning in life. So many people don't know why they live, and also the things they think is meaningful, a lot of times is not meaningful. It's just so much chaos because I think the world somehow now do not value morality as much. You can be anything and it's just becoming an anarchist world, I feel like. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the West was always like this. And I do think for men to have a meaning in life is, making them have a happier life, have more meaningful life and successful life. And it was so, spot on how he talks about it, and how and also when he talk about the part where freedom is responsibility, and that book really helped me to understand what freedom was in some sense, because until then I didn't understand what freedom was. When I was crossing the Gobi Desert, I thought like freedom was wearing jeans, wearing these earrings, wearing any clothes I want to wear, watching like BTS or sing songs with Blackpink. But freedom is a responsibility of your choices. And, it is a scary thing to own that responsibility, but it is. I think that's why so many people do not want to be free and asking a government or big institution to take care of it, because they don't want to be responsible for the results. And I think only the brave ones can be completely free individual where we don't need someone to be responsible for, our choices. And that's why I think freedom is not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of responsibility. It's not freedom is not easy for sure. If Korea united, what do you think about Trump? Really, do you guys want to talk about keyword here? I'm sure like half of you drop over here, or like something gonna happen, or am I gonna be banned by social media too? Well, I mean, I have to be very humble about this. I am new to this country, even though I can be a citizen in a few months. I do think I am still very new. I still like in a process of like understanding a lot of things, but that's why I refrain myself to talk about specific present about something. But Trump definitely, I cannot say he's 100% pure evil. I do think he does things that is right, and he did things that is not right. As the same with hi Kim Song. Yeah. Anyway, let's not focusing on this Kim sympathizers. So this is such a good opportunity for you guys to now like see these people. Why there's so many things about me saying a liar, and how many people actually in this world right now sympathizing dictatorships, sympathizing crazy communist and socialist rule that does not respect democracy. But when I talk about socialism, I don't want you to really link it to like the Western Northern Europe socialism. It is very different socialism and communism that North Korea, China like practices. And this, we have so many people like sympathizing with Kim Jong-un, and I didn't believe it until, and why I was like, when I was getting so attacked and harassed, and I actually used the investigator to look into it, and the person who was sponsored by was a guy who had a hedge fund in New York, bought a lot of North Korea's bonds. So if North Korea, become a successful dictatorship, he's gonna be worth a lot. So, but I don't think it's only economic ties. Just some people really have this massive misunderstanding of freedom, and like it's like a bubble also they are living in, right? If all your life you were born here, I'm sure you are not gonna see as much good than I am. You're gonna see way more bad, and you can't believe like going into circle like, oh, this is the worst of the worst and worst of the worst, and think anyone who says this country is good gonna be your enemy. So anyway, I'm so appreciating Victor, your persistence. You anyway. So Michael Jackson, guys. I remember I arrived in South Korea. One day, there's like a huge news talking about Michael Jackson died. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, who is Michael Jackson? Like, I was coming from different planet, right? So I never heard of who Michael Jackson was. So I didn't know what a big deal that was. And a few years later, they were talking about like maybe Nelson Mandela died. And of course, I also had no clue who that was. I was like, why is it such a big deal on the news? And then last figure I remember was Steve Jobs died. And then I had no clue who that was. After all of that, I was reading, Nelson Mandela's book, Steve Jobs' books, and of course, like now I know Michael Jackson is a very, you're not gonna go for it, but he was a popular and a famous person. But it was funny that like coming from different planet, I didn't even know what like 5 years old anyone here knows. And then okay, report remove. Okay, I think I got removed. Our lovely Victor here. What else, guys? Maybe not. No. Do you have Korean people? Oh my god, this goes up too fast. I cannot read. What do you guys want me to answer today before I go? Will you ever do meet and greet? Will you ever meet? Do you think it's safe for me to be announcing where I'm gonna be, and then you completely guys believe that people like Victor are not gonna come? I do really want to meet you guys. You know, I'm such a people person. I get so much joy and energy from meeting people. It's so sad because, you know, I do politics. I talk about communism and dictatorships. I get so many aunties and who is so passionate about what they believe in. If I do go to only speeches now that where there is a security guards with guns present, otherwise, or the intelligence advise me that it's not safe. But I still, you know, time to time go when it's not too big gathering, small gathering. I know it's like some high school class I go. But if it's a huge event where everyone can attend, outsiders can attend, then it has to be, you know, security present. And this is what I cannot stand, you guys. Like, with whatever you believe in, is that like what I like about this free democracy capitalist world is that you can be a socialist, you can be a communist, and you're not gonna get killed. And that's so beautiful, right? Isn't it beautiful that you can have diverse of ideas? But in North Korea, you cannot be capitalist, you're gonna get killed. And that is why I value in this capitalist world that you can be different things. You don't have to be capitalist. You don't have to worship democracy like I do. And I accept you. I'm okay with you. And I don't think like I need to kill you for that. But why people believe in this ideology with like communism and this, you know, huge government people can't accept that other people can be different things. Why do we have to be a one thing? And that one thing is always the right thing. Like, why can't you accept other people that think differently than you? That is like, I don't get it. Like, why is that? Why do I have to think exactly the same way that you think? You know, the world becomes a better place that we invent different things because we think differently. And like, I would rather like such value that even the people who like believe in a lot of other things that I do not support, I don't think, you know, I don't like think that's a bad thing. I think I accept you for that. Thank you guys. I don't know how to like get him out. I think I just need to report him. That's how I gonna get him out. Okay. Oh, hey, speech geographic. Okay, harassment and bullying. Okay. Maybe Victor is gone now, guys. I'm so glad that you guys get to see this real life. Who are the people thinking like I'm a liar, I'm a propaganda of the West? It is unbelievable. Anyway, so what other questions are we gonna go through? I don't know how to block him. And any thoughts on Japan? Oh yeah, I actually want to talk about Japan so much. So in North Korea, like number one enemy is of course Americans, right? And after that is Japan, like Japanese imperialists. You know, they say it's so bad. And the one thing that North Korea, China, and South Korea right now agrees on is Japan, right? They really hate Japan, especially the current leader Moon Jae-in in South Korea. That's their card playing like Japan. And of course, China does the same, you know. And I'm not gonna go back into what Japan did in the past or that. I do think Japan, you know, did it like colonize us, but I'm just gonna talk about the current day. It is all about like I was talking about like when are we moving on, right? It is important also for Japan to acknowledge what they have done, but that doesn't affect me to admire Japanese people, they are such a hardworking, honorable people that I admire so much for their professionalship and hardworking and kind people. And I've been to Japan, and I was so fell in love with every part of Japan that I went. But before I went to Japan, like I'm like my mom changed her mind. But even before, like I was saying, like, Mom, I want to wear kimono, like the Japanese clothes. I think it's so pretty. It's like that is the last thing I want to wear as a Korean. And she was also so brainwashed. So I took a trip with her. I went to Osaka and I went to Kyoto with her, and we spent several days in Japan, two of us. And that just shifted our mind about even the brainwashing still South Korean government still gives to people and make us to hate each other. And somehow I don't know why the politicians using this idea of hate rather than understanding each other. But I do think like, I mean, like there's no country like North Korea. I do think Japan is such a great country. Like yeah, that's like my opinion. I love Japan. I cannot wait to go back to Japan for sure. All right, guys. Should I remove like to take gang? Why? I mean, oh my. Report, and then choose this me report. But there's no such a thing you can like remove a person, guys. Can you remove a person or no? Okay, what else? Oh, thank you, Charles. I love you too. Very. You can't remove. This is democracy. Okay, but the thing is that this is my group chat, Victor. If I heard your point, but you don't have to repeat the same thing for like million times. Because of democracy, I didn't block you right away, and I don't harass you because of democracy. But this is my private conversation chat, and you need to, by the way, all the communist people, you need to respect the private property. This is my private chat with my people that I care about, so you cannot ruin this whole thing. Hi Kai, how we block these people? Do you guys know? Can any tech savvy person help me with this? I'm so not tech savvy here. Or should I just move on, like leave him alone, like just enjoy that, that how much this bothers them, Like the one thing I learned with my activism is that when I do something that upsets North Korean regime, like I'm so doing the right thing. If I do something that the dictator likes, I'm actually doing a really bad job. So the fact, like you who cares of North Korean dear leader, that monstrous dictator, I'm sure I'm something doing right now. I know without this, it's like, what is it? Kim Il Sung Lia. Do you guys know what the Kim Il Sung Lia? How ridiculous this North Korean regime is? They even named just beautiful flowers next to their names. So Kim Il Sung Lia, this guy, his name is the flower that represents the first dictator Kim Il Sung, and that's what Kim Il Sung Lia is. And there's a Kim Jong Il flower and Kim Il Sung flower. Anyway, so yay. What else? So do you have any pets? I do want to have pets. My mom has a puppy. I haven't had a somehow cat in my life. I always like had dogs in my family, and I used to think I was a more dog person. But I'm so open to try a cat too, because I just haven't tried it. Because I like somebody very expressive and warm, and I like a lot of emotions, and like Korean North Koreans are very emotional people. So I like dogs, how they are so greedy and like expressive of their feelings. But you know, I really want to try cat for sure. Uh, okay, click on the person and block. Got you. Thank you so much. That's what I do. Huh. But I cannot block? Okay. Sir, you cannot swear at me. Hi, user on this. Okay. Alright, I think I was able to do that. Guys, thank you so much. Think I did. Alright. Thank you. Yeah, I do want to do it. Well, this is all the people talking about me being a liar. So you guys gotta first experience how persistent they are. They make so many dummy blogs that doesn't even have an actual person behind it. And okay, and then I hide this user as well. So he's gone. Oh man, that was tough. Let's not get stressed out about this small thing. Okay, you guys can ask me what parts, without like staring at me. You can just ask me which part exactly if you. And also, I'm so kind to you today. I'm not gonna even ask you to go read the book, even though I explained every single thing in the book. If you read a blog or video, saw something that you thought you were confused, ask me here. Because I'm so happy to answer anything. Finally, he got the lead. I know, guys. Thank you guys for helping me. What is? Isn't it so interesting? Like, they are not even that many, right? But they are so loud and they dominate somehow media. It's just so interesting how these people just like so can dominate the whole thing. I did saw some of Noam Chomsky, right? His thoughts were a little bit too complex back then for my English, even though I saw some documents and some things that he wrote, like his essays or long articles I read. So, it's very too early for me to give a thoughts about it. And so, yeah, I will next time talk about him, but not yet. I did, I do like a lot of, I love Milton Friedman. And I mean, of course, on Liberty, John Stuart Mill. I love Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nation. These books are still like foundation for me too. When there's so much people who say they're intellectuals and like pretend they don't know everything, and those books that I still want to keep going back to, foundation of how I should understand capitalism and democracy and freedom. What do I like to cook? So it's embarrassing. I still don't know how to cook American food that well because I don't know how to use the oven. But I do usually cook mostly Asian. I make a lot of broth. I make a lot of, bibimbap. Do you guys know bibimbap? I make, what else do I make? Some vegetables. Yeah, I still like mainly eating Korean food. Think about as the strangest thing about Americans. What I understand about Americans is that Americans is not a one thing. Americans can be so many different things. And that is what makes America, what makes this country great, There are some people like Victor, I'm sure I'm not where he was from, but I decided not to get disappointed seeing one type of American and also, generalize the whole thing. And what people are nowadays doing is that they are so wanted to generalize the whole thing. And, nobody's like in one way, I would say like there's like many of me, many version of me inside me, the kind me, bad me, angry me, compassionate me, loving me. It's like so many versions. And when people just trying to make something black and white, like lie or true, like something so like simple like that. It just buggers me. Like, how do you know? And who's Michael Moore? American food makes you fat? Really? uh, American, I mean, all sorts of American food is like, I like a salad though. I do like, salad with salmon, kale salad, and chicken breast salad. So depending on, I guess, what kind of food, American food I choose, it can be healthy or it can be unhealthy. I do agree though, in general, like if I eat hamburger and pizza every single day, it would be hard to stay thin. What's American food? Exactly, right? Whenever I say like what's American food, is like everyone's like, what is American food? So yeah, I love egg salad, and I actually next time I'm gonna just make my 2 minute of just egg dish. I'm not sure even it's North Korean or South Korean, but my own version of egg dish. Whenever I just get hungry, how I eat it. And have you ever heard anything about Brazil in North Korea? In North Korea, I have not. I have not heard anything about it in Brazil. I mean, most of things I didn't hear about in North Korea, but I heard after, very passionate people loves like tango and, good looking. I have so many beautiful Brazilian model friends in America. So whenever I think of Brazilians, like it's so handsome and cool and smart people. The North Korea memes reaction video. Okay, I will think about it. What do Pyongyang residents think of the tourists visiting? I mean, I visited the Pyongyang, but Pyongyang resident is in a way, because of their privileged, a lot of them do not want to lose that status. So in a way, I think even though Pyongyang residents knows more about the rest of the world, they also might be more prone to maintain the system because they are gonna like lose their like status. And that's why in order for us to change North Korea, we even have to convince the elites why it's better to reform and open up. Oh wow, guys, that was like over an hour. So maybe let's spend. Are you married? Yes, I'm married. I'm married to an American bastard. I can have said this. Have you heard of a Guatemala? No, I haven't. Now I have, but like in America, but not in North Korea. Most of the countries, I'm gonna give you the list of countries that I heard of: America, Japan, maybe Russia a little bit. Like, but I didn't say Russia back then. It was like Soviet Union, so I said it's Soviet. I didn't say Russia. I said Soviet. So Soviet Union, I heard about Japan, and maybe I heard like very in a way like Europe, but did not know. It was like say grappa, but didn't even know like Europe was different from America or not. I somehow thought it was like West was America represents the whole West, and that's how simple my world map was. Thoughts on Kang Nara? So guys, like Kang Nara is another North Korean defector in South Korea. Does YouTube, does a lot of fun stuff. It's so wonderful, so many people, so many of us should come out and speak and without fear. So of course I support all of them. Thank you, Franklin. So did you ever hear of a North Korean citizen, the government in the country returning? What would you do if you were a North Korean leader? So what if I were a North Korean leader? It's so simple. I will get rid of nukes. So that will help me to normalize relationships with other countries. And I will accept the international support. I will accept the United Nations support, international humanitarian support. So I'm gonna right away helping children and elders who are suffering. And the first thing I'm gonna do is visiting concentration camps and open all the doors and help them. And it's not like, as long as Kim Jong-un has no intention of maintaining the regime, it can be all achieved. But because they wanna maintain this like Kim, that is why North Koreans suffer. If he doesn't want that like family line, so think about like why Soviet Union or Russia now, Vietnam, China was able to open up like, I mean, let's just talk about China only. Why were they able to open up economically? Even though they couldn't maintain the communists, they were able to maintain the communist like party, but they were open up the economy. It was possible because nobody in the communist party, the Mao Zedong's son, took it over. The family like, three generation didn't happen in those countries. So North Korea, the reason why they cannot open up economically is that if economically they open up, of course, Americans gonna go, South Koreans gonna go, Japanese gonna go, and people gonna know the truth. And the people that the regime, I mean, the dictator killed their fathers like me. My father who got killed is by the Kims, right? Like the people is not gonna forgive that Kims. So if North Korea, in a way, wanted to just open up the economy, they cannot just maintain these three, like a family line, leadership. If they are willing to change that, switch the leader, I'm sure like the repercussion from the people is gonna be way less. But because Kim Jong-un's like intention is not even maintaining the Communist Party, all he cares is maintaining his like family line, the Kim dictatorship. That's why North Korea is so different from any other communist rule. What else? Do you have siblings? Yes, Dipin, right? I have one older sister who looks like me, so people think we are twins, even though she's older than me. Only not that much though. How is France considered in North Korea? I wish I knew what France was in North Korea, but I didn't. But once I found our friends in South Korea, I love French like sounds. It sounds very romantic, and of course I love like all this dessert. I love French food, and I love French culture. So I love France. Internet package price in North Korea, so there's no internet in North Korea, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, I think we need to wrap up. I'm gonna accept last two questions, and we're gonna wrap up today's Q&A. Before I think it just end, I'm so grateful that you guys didn't leave despite Victor and Kim Il-sung harassing me here. It was, in a way, almost funny. Like they think doing that to me, it's gonna make me sad and like step back. I just like almost, it doesn't bother me. Just kind of funny too. So, what is anime? Is that like animation, guys? Right? Is that? Yeah. You like South Korean leadership now is communist, so I mean, I have to be honest, I do not like the current South Korea's leadership. He's a complete hypocrite. He is communist in heart, and he sympathizes with those people like Victor and Kim Il-sung. They worship Kim Jong-un, They worship Kim Jong-un to hold the last communist rule in this world, and it is so insane how someone can think that way, but that is apparently Moon Jae-in's administration himself. So I do not like the current South Korea, and exactly the same reason why I don't go to South Korea for 4 years is that I might actually get arrested in South Korea by him. Moon Jae-in recently like repatriated North Korean defectors back to North Korea to get killed because North Korea said those people were murderers. And North Korea now accusing me of CIA spy, being a traitor, all those things. And like South Korea now, they're gonna believe what North Korea says, and they can say, "Oh, you're a traitor, you're a spy, so I'm gonna send you back to North Korea." There's nothing else I can do to that, right? So South Korea is definitely not safe for a lot of defectors, and defectors are persecuted right now and sent to prison in South Korea. So last question. Well, you can say that what Moon Jae-in does, like working towards the relations, but what Kim Dae-jung did was actually enriching the dictatorship and maintaining the dictatorship and giving money to the Kims to make more nukes. So if you say helping dictator is improving the relationship, well, I mean, you can say that, right? But what kind of relationship do you want to achieve? Do you want them to have the relationship that improves people who are suffering, or do you want them to empower the dictator who is taking advantage of 25 millions of North Koreans? So it is all about how do you define improving the relationship. Of course, you can improve the relationship with the dictator, but how does that help the North Korean people? I know Kenya, guys, now. Just for fun, I know Kenya. And I think I did have a friend from Kenya at Columbia University in New York. And we had a study groups. He was brilliant. So last question. Thank you guys thank you, Thomas. That's so kind of you. And do you think nursing us will be reunited in our lifetime? And I mean, reunification is such a challenging task gonna be. So I don't even see now at this point is the reason why do we have to reunite, because simply we were one country at some point, and now over the 70 years separation made us to think the different way and different custom, right? The world is changing so much. Think about it, guys. How much gonna be American are gonna be different place from 70 years from now on in 2000, like what, 90? Right, this is 2020 already. So 70 years means way more in this modern age. In the past, like in the middle century, even in say 18th century, maybe not, like 15th century, 14th century, 16th century, 17 years didn't mean much. Like a human GDP didn't really go up until the industrial revolution happened. So maybe back then 70 years didn't mean anything, but now with this speed of growth and economic change and modernity, 70 years is like a huge long time to be separated. And from that time you can develop different custom, like culture, dialect, like the way of norms. So many things are different. So sounds nice, the idea of a reunification, but how likely is it going to be? And how is gonna, like, South Korea and North Korea gonna reconcile their differences? Why South Korea cannot even embrace 30,000 North Korean defectors? So if I saw that 30,000 defectors were successful adjusting to South Korea, I would say reunification is gonna be such a good thing. But because of most of 30,000 defectors have not been able to adapt successfully, I do think, realistically, it's better for North Korea to be independent and then normalize the relationship with South Korea, like what UK and France does. You guys have that train, like completely normalize the relationship. You don't have to be the same country, but you can go back and forth, like a neighboring country, so friendly. And that's like that for me. I think it's gonna be more likely, but for now, I just want North Korean people to be ending this ridiculous, madness by the dictator. And yeah, this was such a interesting, unexpected conversation, guys. I did not expect it to be for them to come and harass that much. So I really appreciate like your patience today with me and with them, and still maintained your coolness and so kind and so loving as always. I really hope that this helps you guys understand something more, and you know I really appreciate all your continuous feedback. I cannot wait to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Is a holiday tomorrow going to be, so take care, guys. I love you all so much, and I cannot wait to see you next time, and hopefully next time is gonna be a bit more peaceful. All right, guys, love you. Bye bye. Have a lovely evening. Bye, guys. I'm going. Bye bye, guys. Bye, guys. Love you. Bye. Bye bye, CJ, Charles, Anna, Coconut, Alexandris, right? Alexandria. I just have to memorize your name soon. Bye, guys. Bye.